Hello students, today we are going to learn the next chapter of your course, The Happy Prince, alright? And this chapter, The Happy Prince, has been written by Oscar Wilde. Before I tell you the summary of the chapter or the central idea of the chapter, let me give you a small introduction of Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde was an Irish writer, clear, playwright as well as poet. He took birth in the year 1854 and died in 1900, clear. And Canterbury Ghost, importance of being earnest are some of the important pieces of work contributed by Oscar Wilde. So this chapter has been written by Oscar Wilde, and now I'm going to tell you the story of this chapter, The Happy Prince. Clear? Now children, this story in this story there was a prince, clear, and this prince always used to live in his palace. He never experienced sorrows, miseries, clear. He always used to be happy, placid, contented, okay. He never came across any problem, so his name was kept Happy Prince. Alright, so the first protagonist of this chapter that we have come to know is Happy Prince. Now, why is his name kept Happy Prince, children? Because he always used to be happy when he was alive. Clear? But when the story begins, we see that Happy Prince has died, clear, and his statue has been placed on the pedestal, has been fastened to a pedestal in the center of the city, clear. In a square, center of the city, in a square, there was a pedestal. What do you mean by pedestal? Pedestal means platform, clear, on a wooden platform or on a cemented platform. His statue was placed, and when Happy Prince's statue was placed on that pedestal, he could witness or he could see people in sorrow, in miseries. People were actually facing problems in their lives, and he could all see because his statue was placed in the center of the city on a pedestal. Clear? Now when he is no more, he was regretting that when he was alive, he was kept in a palace where no problem touched him, where no misery touched him, where no sorrows touched him, and now when he is dead and he cannot do anything, he had been placed at the center of the city. Clear? His statue has been placed at the center of the city. As far as the description of his statue is concerned, children, his eyes were made of sapphire. What is sapphire, children? Blue diamond. Clear? His statue, the hilt of his statue, the sword, okay, the Happy Prince's statue, in the hands of Happy Prince, he held a sword, okay, and at the hilt of that sword was a ruby. Hilt means what? The thing from which the sword is held, clear? जिस चीज से sword को पकड़ा जाता है. So the wooden, you can say handle of the sword. So at the hilt of that sword there was a ruby, clear? Now his whole body was made up of gold leaves, clear? So it was a magnificent statue, clear? Now his statue was so good. One day what happened? A swallow came. Swallow is a migrating bird, clear? Now a swallow came, and the swallow had to migrate to Egypt. So the swallow decided to take some rest, and he chose the statue of Happy Prince to take rest under, right? So swallow came and took rest at the feet of the statue of Happy Prince. And when he covered himself with the wings and he was about to sleep, suddenly the bird swallow, felt few water drops. The swallows thought that the sky is clean, okay? There were no clouds in the sky. From where are these drops coming if it is not rain? Alright, then he opened his wings and he tried to look up. There was no rain. Then again he was trying to sleep, and again he felt the water drops. Then he thought that what is the use of such a beautiful statue when this statue cannot even protect me from rain? Then he came up and he saw, surprisingly, that the water drops were the tears of Happy Prince. The Happy Prince statue was crying. He had tears in his eyes. Happy Prince had tears in his eyes. And the swallow went up and asked Happy Prince that you are such a beautiful statue. What made you cry? Why are you crying? Happy Prince said that when I was alive, he narrates the entire story of his life to Swallow and says, when I was alive, I was so happy. I did not come across any misery, any problem, any sorrow. And when I am no more, I am dead, then I am placed at the center of the city. And I am seeing the problems of people, and that makes me so sad. Clear? And when Swallow comes to know this about Happy Prince makes a request to Swallow. He says, Swallow, Swallow, will you please help me? Swallow says, no, I cannot help you. I have to go to Egypt. Clear? I am here just to take rest and I cannot stop here. I have to go to Egypt, right? Then Happy Prince again requests him that please stay with me for one night, because there is a seamstress. Who is a seamstress, children? A seamstress is a lady who does needlework, okay, who embroiders the dresses, who makes beautiful embroidery on dresses. So Happy Prince says to Swallow that Swallow, Swallow, will you please stay with me for one night, because there is a seamstress, and that seamstress is really in a very bad situation. His son is wanting oranges and is suffering from fever, and this seamstress has no money to give oranges to her son, and she has to complete her work also to earn some money. So would you please give my ruby, which is at the hilt of the sword, pluck that ruby, go and give it to that seamstress. Clear? At first the Swallow denies, but then he agrees and he plucked the ruby from the hilt of the sword. Clear? Now what is the hilt, children? If it is a sword, then this is the hilt. Alright? So the sword, the ruby was placed over here. Now, so he plucked the ruby from here and he flew with that ruby across the ship, across the cathedrals, and in one balcony he saw two lovers talking, a girl and a boy talking. The girl was saying to the boy that these seamstresses do not work at all. Clear? I don't know whether my dress will be ready or not, whether the seamstress had embroidered my dress with beautiful flowers or not. Clear? And the Swallow was listening everything, and he crosses that too, and he reaches the house of seamstress. The seamstress was so tired, so very tired, that she was sleeping. The child of seamstress was lying on the bed, clear, and he was suffering from fever, high fever. Now, this Swallow, he drops the ruby close to the thimble. What do you mean by thimble, children? Thimble is a kind of protection that is put on the thumb, so that the needle may not prick the thumb. Clear? It's used to protect your thumb when you are doing needlework, right? So he drops the ruby close to the thimble, and then Swallow goes to the bed and he flaps his wings very fast, so that the child suffering from fever may get some warmth. Clear? So when the Swallow was flapping the wings, and the child felt bit good because he was burning with fever, and now receiving some relaxation. The Swallow was flapping the wings, and the air that was coming out of it, he was receiving that, so he was feeling so good. Clear? Now he leaves the place and he goes back, and the Swallow talks to Happy Prince. What does he say, children? He says that today it is so cold over here, but still I am feeling so warm. Who is feeling warm? Swallow, right? And whom is Swallow saying all this to? Happy Prince. And what happens is, when Swallow says all this to Happy Prince says that you are feeling warm only because you have done a good deed. Clear? Now next day, Swallow goes round the city. he enjoys himself, right? And then at night again he comes to Happy Prince and says that now I'm going to Egypt. Do you have any work in Egypt? Please let me know because I'm going there, right? Then Happy Prince says, Swallow, Swallow, will you stay with me for one more night? Swallow says, no, all my friends have reached Egypt. They are enjoying in River Nile, right? So I cannot stay here. Clear? Then Happy Prince says, please one more night because there is a playwright. Now who is a playwright, children? The person who writes plays for theaters, right? He says there is a playwright and that playwright is really hungry. He doesn't have anything to eat, clear, and he has to submit a play also, and he is feeling so cold but he doesn't have fire, okay, to keep himself warm. So he's really very poor. Please, will you please help me? Then first of all Swallow denies, and then he says, where is your another ruby? I'll go and give it to him. He says, no, I don't have any ruby now, but please pluck one of the sapphire from one of my eyes and give it to that playwright. The Swallow says, are you mad? You are going to become blind. You will be able to see only through one eye then. He says, no problem, but please do as I command you. Clear? Now Swallow plucks that sapphire from the eye of Happy Prince and he flies and he reaches the house of playwright, and the playwright was sleeping. Okay, he was also sleeping. He had buried his head in the hands like this and he was sleeping, right? And then the Swallow drops the sapphire over there in the violet flowers, the dry violet flowers, and he comes back to Happy Prince. Clear? He felt very good. Now the third day came. Again Swallow said that now I am going. Clear? The Happy Prince says, just one more day please, because there is a match girl. Right? Now who is match girl? The girl who sells matchstick, right? Matches ki tiliyan. Right? So the girl has dropped all her matchsticks into the gutter and now she has nothing left with her, but she had to earn money and give it to her father. If she goes without money, then father will definitely scold her. So pluck another sapphire from my another eye and give it to the girl, right? The match girl. Then Swallow was very surprised. You will become totally blind. He says, no, I don't have any problem. Do as I command you. Swallow plucked the second sapphire from the second eye of Happy Prince and goes and gives it to the girl, the match girl. He drops it into the hands of match girl and the match girl went dancing to her home. Okay? Now what happens? He came back and now Happy Prince says, now you can go away. But Swallow decided that I am going to be with you because now you have become blind and I am going to stay with you. I am going to tell you whatever is happening around. You are such a nice person. I would like to stay with you for the rest of my life, right? From that day onwards, Swallow was always with Happy Prince. He always used to narrate stories to Happy Prince, whatever was happening around him. Clear? Now, all the happy stories were being narrated to Happy Prince. One day, Happy Prince told Swallow, go around the city and check whether all the people are happy, because you always narrate me happy stories around me, but I want to know the condition of my people in the city. So go and take a round of the city and tell me whether everybody is happy or not. Swallow goes round and see, and what he sees is rich people were making merry, they were very happy, but poor people were sitting outside their houses. They did not even have their daily breads, right? Then he moved forward and he saw that two brothers were trying to sleep under a bridge, but the watchman asked them to go away from there and the two boys went in rain to search food. And many other people Swallow saw, were not happy. He returned back to Happy Prince and narrated everything to Happy Prince. Happy Prince said to Swallow that do pluck one gold leaf from my body and go and give it to the people who are sad and who are unhappy, because living people think that gold or money would help them to become happy. Alright, so Happy Prince asked Swallow to pluck one leaf from the body and go and give it to the people, right, who are not happy. Swallow does it. Okay, he plucks one leaf from the body of Happy Prince, and now the inside of the Happy Prince's body was made up of lead, right, and it was very ugly. Now the winters were growing dark, right, winters were growing so deep, the roads were covered with snow. Swallow could not bear such cold. Okay, he used to shiver from cold, clear, and he used to feed himself from the breadcrumbs thrown by the baker, right. But now he couldn't tolerate the cold, clear, he couldn't tolerate the winters, and one day Swallow went to Happy Prince and said, "Can I kiss you, because I am leaving?" Happy Prince thought that he is leaving for Egypt. Happy Prince told him, "Yes, I am very happy that you have taken this decision and now you can go to Egypt," right? But Swallow said that I am not going to Egypt, I am going to my deathbed. Because Swallow was not able to tolerate the cold, he knew that he is going to die. He said this, they kissed each other on lips, and Swallow died at the feet of Happy Prince. The dead body of Swallow fell. And when Swallow died, there was a sound of crack. And what cracked, the children? The heart of Happy Prince. Clear? As soon as Swallow died, the heart of Happy Prince got cracked. Clear? Now what happened? Happy Prince was very unhappy now. Clear? Next day, the mayor of the city came on round, okay, and he saw the ugly statue of Happy Prince. He told to his counselors who were along with him that it is such an ugly statue. Previously, it was such a magnificent statue, right? It was the pride of our city, but now it is no more the pride of our city. So remove this statue, send it to the furnace and get it melted and used for some other purpose, right? And the mayor also saw the dead body of the bird, Swallow. He said, "Throw it away, and the birds are not allowed to die like this." Okay, then the dead body of bird was thrown in the bushes, and the Happy Prince's statue was sent to be melted on the furnace, right? Bhatti par melt hone ke liye bech diya. Now, when the Happy Prince's statue was sent to the furnace, somehow the heart did not melt, and the people, the workers, threw the heart close to the dead body of Swallow. Now, here the chapter ends. There is a small paragraph at the end of the chapter which says that God sends his angels to find the two most beautiful things of the earth. And what were those two things? Two most beautiful things according to angels? The heart of Happy Prince and the dead body of Swallow. Alright, so the angels got those two things for God, and God actually said, yes, these are the two most beautiful things of the world. That's all we have in the story of the Happy Prince, children. In next lecture, we are going to revise this chapter and also the central idea and the theme of this chapter. Thank you.